Good day everyone! Welcome back to MOTO and thank you for tuning in. My name is Julio Rivero and on this episode we're going to talk about the newest mid-size adventure motorcycle in the market today. A lot of people are actually waiting for this, so stay tuned! Before we get there, if you're new to this channel, you might want to subscribe and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified of my upcoming videos. Alright, earlier I said that we're going to talk about the newest mid-size adventure motorcycle in the market today, and I'm talking about none other than the CFMOTO 800MT. A lot of people are actually waiting for this, and it's finally here in the Philippines. And yesterday I was able to test ride it. I went to Mariveles and back here in Metro Manila, a total of 550 kilometers. And I do have my personal thoughts, and I'd like to share my experience riding this bike. Plus, we're going to talk about the specs and a walk around of this bike. Now, before we get down to the specs, let's talk about what's special about this bike. This bike is actually using the KTM's 790 engine. Now, if you ask why, well, KTM and CFMOTO goes way back in 2011, wherein CFMOTO is the one that brought in KTM brand in China, one of the biggest motorcycle market in the world. And they do supply some other parts for KTM, and in 2016 they came into another joint venture wherein CFMOTO produces the mid-size or mid-range engines for KTM so that they can focus on their flagship models, producing the 1090, 1190 and 1290 engines in Austria. And as an outcome, CFMOTO 800MT benefits from the LC8 engine. So if you are thinking that this is a knockoff of the KTM engine, it's not. This is actually the LC8 engine that's used in the 790 KTM motorcycles. Alright, let's do a walk around of this bike. The first thing that you would notice when you see this bike in person is the size of it. This bike is huge for a mid-size adventure motorcycle. It's way bigger than the KTM 790 Adventure and taller and obviously wider than the Tenere T700. I would say that the size of this bike is comparable already to the bigger ones like the Honda Africa. The weight is 231 kilograms, but I tell you, I rode this yesterday and it does not feel 231 kilograms at all. Alright, in terms of design, this bike has a modern adventure design. It does not follow the traditional adventure bike wherein there's a beak in front, and this bike veered away from that. The look and finish of this bike is also premium. So if you're thinking that this is from China, it looks China and feels China, no, it's not. This is comparable to the Japanese bike or the higher end bikes when you touch on it, when you sit on it. So this bike is definitely a looker. Gives you that presence in the room. So yeah, very, very good design by CFMOTO. I would say this bike closely resembles the F800 GS. That it has that kind of vibe into it. I want to show you how this bike fits on me. I'm 5'10", going 5'11", somewhere in the middle. So I'm gonna sit on it and show it to you. I want to show you how tall this bike is. Now my height is 5'10", going 5'11", and this bike has a seat height of 825 millimeters with a ground clearance of 7.48 inches. So obviously without ground clearance, this is not made for heavy trail use, but more of a road touring bias bike. This is it. This is the bike, and let's talk about the specs. Okay, so this is the LC8 engine. It's a 799cc twin parallel engine with 4 valves per cylinder, DOHC, and on the gearbox, this one of the good things about this motorcycle is that it has 6-speed transmission equipped with slipper clutch and auto blipper, something that you only get from a high-end adventure motorcycle. Now, in terms of fuel management, this bike is equipped with EFI, and the throttle is controlled by electronic system made by Bosch. It's basically a ride-by-wire bike, and it has a 19 liters of tank. Yesterday, in my experience going to Mariveles, I got about 20-22 kilometers per liter, so it's not bad for a bike with a size like this. Okay, let's talk about the suspension of this bike. It has a KYB front and rear suspension, fully adjustable for preload, compression, and rebound, and the front suspension has 20 clicks available for you, so that you can fine-tune it depending on your riding preference. The front suspension has 160 millimeters of travel, while the rear has 150 millimeters of travel, giving a total of 190 millimeters ground clearance Again, you can fully customize that to adjust it depending on your riding preference or your height preference. Another cool thing about this bike is this bike has a steering damper, and that's gonna help you steer and navigate through difficult road conditions and traffic and off-road. Okay, in terms of braking, this bike is equipped with J1 braking system, two 320 millimeters of disc in front with 4 caliper pistons, and at the back you got 260 millimeters of disc and a dual caliper piston. And the braking power is good. And what's cool about this, and one of the things you only find on the more premium bikes, is the ABS and the quartering ABS, which is something really cool and handy, especially when you're riding on the twisties of the mountains with sands and everything. That can be a source of a wash or a slip of the tires. And in terms of tires, this bike uses a Maxxis Venture MA1 with a 19-inch wheel in front, 17 wheel at the back. If you're taking the touring version, it comes with the wired wheels. If you're taking the sport version, it comes with the standard aluminum wheels. Another cool thing about this bike is it has tire pressure monitoring system. That actually works. I tried it yesterday and it's cool to have it. And I'm able to monitor my tire pressure, and that's really amazing to have for a bike like this. Okay, let's talk about the headlight of this bike. This has an LED headlight, and it comes with an auxiliary light and an LED turn signals. What's cool about the headlight is it has an automatic setting that just have to turn it on, and yeah, when it's nighttime it turns on automatically, and when it's daytime it shuts itself off, and depending really on the light condition, just like the modern cars these days. And that comes in really handy, especially if you're just focusing on the ride and you don't have to worry about fiddling on the buttons and turning the headlight or wondering if the auxiliary light is on. And the auto flash or the flasher system is really great. I was able to use it yesterday in my ride on the way home, and I find it really easy to overtake because I can call people's attention and yeah, they could see me coming or they could see me overtaking from behind. Okay, now this bike comes with a rack system, comes with a very good sturdy rack, and it's made out of aluminum. And all you have to do is buy your top box and your side aluminum box, or if you want to go soft bags, that's cool. Alright, so let's talk about the display of this bike. This bike is equipped with a 7-inch TFT display that shows you all the information that you need, the riding modes that you are in, and it has a smartphone connectivity so that you can actually control your phone on the screen, and also has a built-in navigation system. So what you do is when you purchase this bike, it comes with a software or an application that you download in your phone and allows you to connect to this bike so you can use the navigation system. Some features that I mentioned to you, which is really cool, is that this bike is equipped with heated grips and heated seats so that keep your hands warm and your butt warm on a cold, rainy days ride, especially if you're going to Baguio or in that part of Luzon. So really cool, and that's again something that you won't find or you will only find on a premium higher end adventure motorcycles in the market today. Who is this bike for? This bike is for those who are seeking long rides, comfortable long rides. So this bike, I think, is more about 70-30 split on-road and off-road. This bike has the capability to do dirt or gravel or light trail, but obviously it can't do hard trail. Now, there are some features that I listed here that I used the most during my ride yesterday. And one of them is the cruise control. I never thought that I'd actually enjoy cruise control, but on the long stretches of highway, that comes in handy. And the cruise control of this bike is not so complicated. Just turn it on and flick of a switch and it engages automatically for you. When you step on the brake, it automatically cancels. It's just like the cruise control of the modern cars. Is there a value for money on this bike? Obviously, it's a resounding yes. This bike has all the features that you would get on a more premium bike, double its price, and it's available on this motorcycle. Will I buy this bike? Well, I'm actually thinking about it because I'm more of a 50-50 on-road, off-road bike, or 60% off-road or 40% on-road and 60% off-road kind of a guy. And knowing that this bike can't handle you know, a little over simple dirt or trail, then that's something I'm trying to consider. If I'm a guy who's not into off-road, well, absolutely, I will buy this bike. With only 515,000 for the Sport Edition and 565,000 for the Touring Edition, then that's a bang for the buck. Really, that's a steal for the features and yeah, the entire package of this bike. So, all right, and that's about it for this episode. I hope you like it, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos, and always ride safe, everyone. Ciao.